motion was by Rachel, and seconded by Jim.
Sorry, I forgot my charger.
So
that.
that was
And I
actually
clearly
new
need
business that we were talking about then, or were we looking at under old? Because old business is the survey update.
That was the business. All right, so the rest of the meeting, we can talk about the meeting on Monday night, which will be in the community room at 7 p.m. Just bring Lori up to stuff. I wrote a letter to the editor last week, it was in last week's Trumbull Times, signed by myself and the without partisan letter, non-political, encouraging people to leave their politics at home and discuss Trumbull ideas and a list of wants and needs for the senior community center project. Okay, so in addition to that, there was postings on the websites, there was a public notice, all kinds of good things, so everybody should know about it.
Are you, I tend to do a lot for high school, posting things on Facebook, different pages like that. Are we comfortable doing that and to kind of advertise it?
If you'd like to, you're welcome to.
Okay.
We just did it on the town website.
Okay.
I think it's on the front. Did you put it on the front cover?
I did not. I sent her the posting. I don't know where she put it or how she posted it. I can check.
Okay, please.
And if not, I'll have her put it on.
All right, yeah, because I was talking to Lynn earlier today, and we talked about putting it on the front page to make sure that it's visible.
Visible.
But if you want to put it on the posting,
Yeah, just so it gets out there, because like I said, I remember seeing bits and pieces of it, but not.
well, basically it's a public hearing starting at 7 o'clock. Forcing the community to opinion as to what your wants and needs are for the town of Trumbull for a senior community center.
Okay. Great.
We don't want people to say, yes, I want more sewers or
Right.
something. It's just
Right,
for
it
this
is
very
one specific, yeah.
thing.
I'm just
Yeah.
gonna put a little blurb.
Yeah.
That's all.
Great.
That's all it is. That's
We're
great.
trying to keep this committee has been very successful in being political so far.
It's not even an issue. You can keep hearing political, but it's not even in the.
It comes up in a lot of things.
I know it
That's
does.
why
I
we
know
do
it
have
does.
to keep.
Yeah.
I know it does, but hopefully, I think just the idea of saying a senior center, community center, hopefully people
It's too
think differently.
important to
Right.
Well, they
make it
did.
into a political football. This is important stuff. This isn't
Right.
Seasonal
Exactly.
recreational politics.
That's a long time
This is
coming, is what it
long-term.
is.
This is
Right.
long-term
Right.
important stuff. So Jamie's going to moderate it. Let's talk about the format. How do you? Actually, you have a lot more experience with it. You did the library.
Yes, we did.
How did you do that, and how did it work?
Well, of course, we had professionals do that, and it worked very well, as I was saying. They took a couple of questions out of our survey, and they focused on those. You know, with the, what do you like most about your library? You know, that was one of the things. What do you think you would like to have in the library? How do you feel about the library staying where it is or moving? Questions like that, and they asked several people. Of course, other things came up. You were there, you know that. But they just had, like I said to her, if it's a free form, it gets very unruly. But if you have those questions that people go back and you stick to that agenda.
Can
Did
it
they
have
just-
focus groups?
Oh, we had all that.
How will that beforehand?
Oh, yeah. We had all kinds. We had focus groups, and we had 6 focus groups and a survey done before we had this meeting.
Okay.
So we had it all, it was all documented and everything like that. We knew, like you know with the survey, we knew the hot points
Great.
that people wanted.
Speaking
one
of the
was
survey,
parking.
speaking of the
Yeah.
survey, how many responses have you gotten?
We've gotten a really good response. And I have to kind of leave it there, because if I
Okay.
tell you about it, then it has to be entered into the public record.
Okay.
So I checked with the attorneys at the last meeting, because I was gonna share you the responses
Okay.
so far, and they told me I couldn't.
Cause it's not, it's still active.
Because
Is
it's
it
still
still-
active,
is
and
it
then it
still-
would be into the public, has to be written into the public record, which defeats the whole point of the survey.
Okay, all right.
But to your point, at the survey, I think it's pretty general, you know, and
Yeah.
and I think that's appropriate for taking some of those for here, because we really are trying to get a gauge of what people, it's a little different than your
Right,
experience probably with the
right, right.
library that there were already some issues, this is kind of starting from scratch, so I think that's a great idea, pick out the ones that really,
Right, you know, some people will say, you say, what's the most important thing in the
Right.
survey? Well, it's the senior center,
Right.
or it's a community center, or we don't need a community center, we have the high school, we have the library, people will have very definite
specific
opinions.
opinions, right.
About how much is this money is always gonna be an issue,
Right.
always.
Right.
Where are you gonna put it?
Right.
You know, those are the kind of
Where,
things
how
I
much,
think
sure,
people are gonna
yeah.
snap back
But it'd be
at
nice
for.
to see what people are really looking for,
Oh,
I
yeah.
think that's important, and I
And you
think,
do hope
yeah.
that people come out and tell us what they're
Yeah.
looking for, you
Yeah,
know,
not
that's
just the
thing.
ones who are upset.
I will tell you that our planner that did our strategic plan and were the ones who ran our public session for us, didn't think we'd have as many as we had. They were shocked at the amount of people that came out for the library.
Yeah, yeah.
So, you know, and we may have the same thing, I mean, you know.
That'd be interesting, yeah, because that was kind of getting kind of heated at that point, and people were
Yeah.
very opinionated, and I'm not
And
sure
that's
how
where
many
the
people have formed
political
opinions on this.
aspect of it comes in, and that it got politically heated.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, the Bergers were not from this town, so they couldn't see who was up there and cut them off, even though I asked her to cut a couple of people off. Now, Jamie might be able to know of the troublemakers in town. I'm not saying troublemaker because they want to go on their own agenda.
Right.
Not sticking with the
Right.
agenda.
But I'm hoping with this, more of it is understanding what people want, and people kind of learning too. I think people don't
Yeah.
know enough about the senior
No,
center,
they
and
don't.
this is the
They don't.
situation it's in until they go there, and then they're like, how do we have this? So I think we're in a softer place, hopefully, but I like the idea of using some of the survey questions, because they were very broad, but still got to the meat of what we want to find out.
And I don't think we need a lot of questions, we just
Yeah.
need to have a lot of discussion on a
No,
couple of
you're right,
questions.
yeah, exactly, yeah. I think that we get good participation at the senior center, but we don't get, in this, in my opinion, great participation in comparison to, because everything in life is a comparison, in comparison to some other towns. There are other towns where we do much better, we have a lot more participation, but there are some that stand out, like Fairfield and Stratford, that have huge participation. So we're saying, we've invested in this, we have this facility, we have the personnel, it should be used
Right,
for the betterment of the people.
right.
And the people should feel comfortable there, why don't they? Well,
Right.
if you've been there, you
You
can
know.
understand why.
Yeah. Yeah.
Trumbull's population is aging.
Yes, and we don't wanna chase the people out of town. They built the town, they deserve, a place and a facility to be able to use and to age in place.
And a safe, usable place too, yeah. I mean,
Yeah. And there's a lot of factors, because we spent, just to bring up the stuff, we spent a considerable amount of time visiting
yeah,
centers
I
all
read
over.
that, yeah.
And even out of the area.
Mhm.
And we put together a whole list of things that work and
Right.
things that don't work. And then went back to our center again and looked at it with a fresh eye. Because seeing it the first time, as opposed to seeing it after seeing everything
Yeah.
else, you looked at it
Oh, yes.
completely
Oh,
differently.
of course, of
Completely
course.
differently.
Yeah.
So, and some of the things like, I'd like to know what people think about dropping the age to,
Yeah.
to 60 or 55.
So what are other towns?
Whole list.
Yeah.
That we went to?
Yeah, what's in general, do you think we're not in line with other towns, or as far as the
Well,
age?
The worst place was Monroe.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and which was interesting, because if you looked at it, you would think,
It was beautiful.
you would
Yeah.
think that was the best.
Yeah.
It was the most attractive place.
Yeah, yeah.
And yet,
It-
they didn't like it,
Yeah,
and they openly admitted that it was terrible.
it's not working, right.
And we looked at it, and after talking to them, we understood why it didn't
Mhm.
work. It was just one big room.
Right,
you
and that doesn't,
Yeah,
meet anybody's
Fairfield, I
needs.
would say, was probably the best one.
know.
I was gonna say Stratford.
Stratford was good, except it was up and down,
Yeah.
and it had a lot of wasted space too.
And they were moving things, you know, the
They were
first
moving
floor,
things, yeah.
you know, was the gym, they were playing pickleball, and that's also where they had lunch, you know.
Right.
That kind of thing, that
Right.
doesn't work,
Alright,
you know,
well, pickleball, when that got built, pickleball, nobody had heard about
right,
pickleball.
now
when
it's
that
very
got built.
popular, but
the in thing.
Fairfield,
I know.
Fairfield
I know.
was really the best.
And where is that on, that old Osborne?
Let me see, I don't know.
Back of the center,
Um,
I don't know what street
if
it
you
I
is.
can
go
look it up.
down, if you go down Reef Road and you turn right on Old Fairfield,
Old Field.
Old Field Road,
Mhm.
you
And
take
then
that
left at the
about
stop sign.
a mile and you can see a little blue sign that says Senior
Oh, yeah,
Center
yeah,
down
yeah.
that way.
Yeah, there's baseball fields past it.
Yes, exactly,
Yes.
exactly.
Yes.
I don't know what the name of the school had been, but.
Yeah, it was, I'll think of it, I live in Stratford, Fairfield, I should get that. Okay, now we know where it is.
And
Yeah, they have a lot
Oh,
of
it's
space
wonderful.
there
they
too,
have a lot of
so,
space,
yep.
and it's beautifully appointed, and
Mhm.
it's really nice.
Okay, good to know.
And I don't know about any place else. I didn't go to Easton because I was
Easton
Easton
is,
ill.
Easton's a nice
But
facility.
it was
As is
smaller,
Orange.
but it was,
Is Easton Community Center where the senior center
No,
is
it's
too?
just a senior
separate?
center,
Okay,
they have a community center.
but it is
Yeah.
an old school.
yeah, that's
But
what
they
I
did a
thought.
very
Okay.
good job renovating it.
But their
Okay.
community center, it's kind of a campus, like it's right up the street.
Yeah, that's what I thought,
You know,
right,
everything's right around,
okay,
which is nice.
Yeah.
You'd say, how does a town like Easton have a campus?
yeah,
You know, 'cause it's
Yeah.
really rural,
Yeah.
and yet they were able to do that.
Mhm.
yep, yep.
So what do you think are some of the questions we should ask them?
You don't remember the questions.
Well, I think you need to ask them, how they want the building laid out.
Well, that's a good
Do
question.
they want it on one floor, do they want more than one floor?
Well, why don't we ask them, what would you use a community center for?
I was gonna say, maybe to open up with a real general, a general kind of question that's more, yeah, what are your needs, what are your wants and needs, and then get to more specifics.
What would you like need in a community center?
Where would you can also work on,
You know what, our first question might be, I might stop everything, so I hate to say it. Do we need a community center?
It's true,
Stop
yeah.
the whole discussion.
well, no,
Okay.
yeah, no, that may not be a good question.
No, it won't be a good question.
No.
I guess I would be
Stop it.
curious about people's, feeling about a senior center, community center separate together, like, I don't know how to phrase
Well, I
that,
can
but
tell
what.
you what the seniors will tell you.
I know.
They'll tell you
They'll
they
say
don't
no.
want it,
I
they don't
know.
want it together.
No,
I
they
know,
don't.
I know.
under
Even
any
at night, even if it
circumstances.
was a,
They,
yeah, they want their own
they
space.
want their, have you been to the senior center?
I know. I
Or
guess,
have you been there?
yeah,
Okay,
Yeah,
well,
yeah.
because,
but for where it is now, that definitely doesn't work. I guess I'm looking at it, if it, in a different location, in an ideal
Mhm.
setup, is it, because they can only see it in the space they're in now, that it would of course never work as a community center, or just they don't like the idea of it at all?
they don't like the idea of other people when they're there. Now, if you have it so that the other population can't be there when
Right.
they're there, that's a different story.
That's what I think I was thinking.
They don't want kids there. They definitely don't want teenagers there.
Right.
Yeah,
I think
We're a
that's
nasty
reasonable.
old group, aren't we?
we don't
No,
care.
but I think that's typical, right? I think that would be the general sense in most places. But I
I
guess
think
I
so
was trying to
too.
differentiate between our, full usage, using it a certain way during the day and maybe a different way at
And
night and
that's been a
weekends.
stumbling block here in.
Yes, it has been.
In the committee too.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. Yeah, I don't know the answer. I guess I would just be curious as to how people, and whether it's the most cost
And
effective
what
as
is,
well.
and what is the most important thing? I mean,
Right.
the most important thing right now in town is the community, is the senior center.
Exactly.
And where would you put your monies?
Right.
Would you be willing to support a senior community center?
I think that's one of the biggest questions. Would you be willing to support
Mhm.
a senior center?
Everybody that says no
Well-
should go to the current one and then just.
Well, they're gonna say, well, we don't care because we're not seniors.
Exactly. I don't think you can ask those kind of definitive
No,
yes
you
and
can't.
no
Yeah,
questions,
right.
because you stop the conversation.
Yep.
and
Yeah.
you're
Exactly.
invoking
Yeah.
an
But-
inflammatory response.
What-
You wanted to say, what
You
is
don't-
it, what,
You don't ask yes and no questions.
Right.
right,
And
yes,
don't-
what would you want it to look
What
like
would you
as
like?
opposed to
What
would
would
you
you
want it, right?
What would you like at a senior
Right,
center?
yeah,
What would you like, what would you use a community center for?
Yeah, that's a great one.
Because as soon as you get into, should we have it or shouldn't we?
Right.
Oh, yeah, that's, yeah.
You just get into a battle.
Oh, you
No,
do, for
yeah,
sure.
you're not going there. You're
Because
not.
this committee's goal is to come up with a proposal,
Mhm,
not to make the decision.
mhm, exactly.
And you can't make the decision until you have a proposal, until you say, okay, we're gonna build, you know, a particular size center, and we suggest you build it at this particular spot, and this is what it's going to include. It's gonna be this many square feet,
Mhm.
this section's gonna be for seniors, this section's gonna be the community, blah, blah, the whole thing. And then you can shoot it down more
Exactly,
ready.
exactly,
But you can't just shoot down the idea,
no,
you know, our task, or else we shouldn't have this committee.
right.
Yep.
Yeah, exactly, and
No,
then
it's
money
all
is gonna
the
come
same.
up, you know someone's
Of
gonna
course.
say something about money right away.
Well, you know, I think that you can kind of spread your message through this a little bit too, and saying about, well, you know, what does a cost-effective center look like to you, or, you know, those kind of things, what would you be willing, you know, to, I don't wanna say, to, you know, invest in this, those kind of things. The other, I'm gonna lose my train of thought, but are we comfortable asking about how people feel about location? You know, not specifics, but saying, where would you go, you know, to you know, I don't know how prohibitive that, where the senior center is now to people that can come or not, and I don't know if that's a factor or not.
It hasn't been a factor till now, but having it centrally located is the ideal.
Right, right.
Well,
So
for
how important
anything,
is the
though.
location
But I
to
guess what I'm
you?
trying to say is if we add a public hearing, not only can you get information, but you can kind of, what do I wanna say, further your cause. If we're really looking to say a central location, if you kind of bring that question up and you get that feedback, then,
Indoctrination.
yeah, that's a good word. I'm trying to say it in a nice way, but yes, that's the best way. But, right, it's really,
Well,
you
how
know.
important is location to you?
Right,
that's
right, to kind of publicize what, you know, we think is important, and if you get the support of the community, then you're kind of saying, this is what you told us.
Because, they may have no definitive ideas about it.
Exactly.
The location might not mean anything
Right.
to them.
Right. Or, but if it is really important, then we have a little bit more to
Exactly.
go on, right.
And maybe the first time they thought about it. too.
Exactly, exactly.
And so, do we need another question? We've got, what, two,
So we have,
three? What do you have down?
what would,
Joe?
what would you use a community center for?
Right.
And how important is the location for you?
What would be another one that we would,
Can we talk a little bit about, either the combination or the separation between a senior and community center, or I don't know how you wanna word that, but really seeing if people feel like if that's a priority to have them totally separate, have, you know,
I
have
think
it
that might
be too
invoke-
far?
Might invoke some
Okay.
heated debate, because, you know, I think from our experience in talking to all the other centers, it's my recommendation to you that they be separate but combined
Yep.
somewhat,
Right,
Exactly.
okay? That they,
Some iron door between
Yep.
them.
yeah,
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 it's
I
locked
understand,
with
you
a
know,
fence.
Right.
it sounds wonderful to have a senior center and have families there
Yeah,
too.
but that's
But,
not
you know,
gonna
you
work.
can't have an 80-year-old
Oh, no.
playing cards and
Mhm.
doing things like that, or doing crafts and things that they do, and they're having a good time doing it, or an exercise class, and having 12-year-olds run through it.
right,
Yeah.
I mean, it can't be.
totally agree, but so
So, you know, but that doesn't mean that you can't build a building where you go into the center and to go to the
Right.
left for the seniors and
separate
Right.
programs
the
can be
community
housed.
room is to the right,
Right,
and
exactly.
they don't go near each other, you know?
So when we're talking about this, I guess I'm just trying to get the wording right, because when you look at the name of our committee, it's a very long name.
It is.
But to, I guess when I'm referring it, I'm kind of referring as a senior/community center, and would that be, and the library kind of is out of the,
Yeah, we had our,
We've had those discussions.
our big public meeting
Yeah.
at the library.
so I just want, yeah, I guess when I'm referring to it, I just want to make sure I'm using the right, or, you know, consistent,
I mean, I suppose we
language.
could have had a senior meeting alone, talking to people about the senior center, but it just seemed
Oh,
that
yeah.
since there's the big possibility of it being combined,
I
it's
agree.
better to put it
I agree.
together.
And combined meaning that you could have, for example, you could have a two-story building
Right.
where you have meeting rooms on the second floor.
Mhm.
And that could be part of the community center used
Right.
after 4 o'clock.
Right, exactly.
Where organizations in towns come
Mhm.
and use it,
Mhm.
you know, and they go upstairs and they're never even in the senior center.
Right.
But it's cheap real estate because it's a second floor.
Right.
Okay, or you could even use the second floor as they did in Florida with municipal administrative
Mhm.
buildings.
Mhm.
So in other words, the second floor could be social services, could be
Yeah.
nursing,
Mhm.
could be the health
Well,
department.
maybe there's something
all
that you
those
should
kinds of
bring
things.
up at the meeting on Monday, so that people understand that that's a possibility,
Mhm.
to have, that kind of a building.
Yeah, because I do think that the senior center should be on one floor,
Mhm.
on the first floor.
Oh, yeah.
And that, it's not a problem putting social services and nursing and the health department and all those kinds of
Mhm.
things on the second floor. They're nearby, but they're an elevator right away.
Right. So I think that question is
And
basically,
it's always cheaper to go up than it is to go out.
right.
Well, that might alleviate some of the residents' concerns about how much money we're spending. If they know that you're gonna take
We're not
this
spending
building.
anything.
Yeah.
Well, you're gonna
But
take this
there will be.
building and you're not just doing it for the seniors.
Right,
We're
right,
doing it for the
exactly.
whole town.
Exactly.
With all this other stuff in there with it.
Well, and I guess really looking at what are the other needs of the whole town, right away I think of meetings and, rooms that are in
Which we want to put in the library.
demand. You guys get it, we use that room a lot, but those kind of things that I think people need to know, so I guess it would kind of be like, what do they think a senior community center looks like, what do you think should be housed there, those
We
kind
do
of.
need to get a question that about senior center in here somehow or other, about
Right.
combination or.
Right, what
some
would
kind
it
of
look
a-
like to you, or
yeah.
what kind of things do you think need to be in a building like this, or something that's generalized that'll hopefully bring that information together.
Well, that's it, I like that phrase. If we were to combine senior center with a community center, what would that
What
look
would
like?
that look like?
That's good.
Yeah, I think that's,
If a senior center and a community center were combined, what would it
what
look
would
like?
it look like?
Mhm.
What do you think are the important things that need to be couched there? And then it's an opportunity to talk about, what else could be, how else it could be used.
Well, also it's kind of like, what do you think needs to be in a community center or a senior center?
Right.
What do you think needs to be in this
Well, we
building?
already asked him, what would you use a community center
Yeah,
for?
I know. But I'm pretty sure some people are gonna say recreation, they're gonna think it's gonna be basketball courts and,
Yeah.
Don't you
yeah,
think?
Yeah.
Yeah.
they have to
But then it'll be
understand that.
interesting to see how that
Yeah.
conversation goes. I guess I'd be curious about that, depending on the audience and who they are, to maybe see other perspectives of, like you said, if people think community center, they think
Yeah,
someplace
I
to
mean,
go play basketball.
that's right,
People- Right.
what's their concept of a community
Right,
center?
I think it
And
kinda opens it
You're
up.
gonna get backlash because I think this town, as most towns do, has already invested very heavily in sports and recreation.
Yeah.
I mean, millions of dollars in sports
Yeah.
and recreation.
And they're still short on space, which
Yeah,
is so,
yeah,
you
which is
figure,
ironic,
right,
yeah.
right, it's very ironic.
I'm still
Is
getting
Jamie
calls
gonna
about fields.
present an
Mhm.
informational part before these questions are brought up? Is she gonna make a statement first about what we've done and what's going on with,
Do you think she should?
I think she should. I think you can't, well, my opinion, because I
Mhm.
don't think you could just go in there and start asking
Questions.
questions.
Oh, yeah,
I think
Yeah.
Yeah.
think you need to have your parameters,
Mhm.
because you're gonna have people coming there.
Like, what do you, right,
Right.
I never heard about this, or,
Exactly.
right.
So maybe she needs to have a little speech
Yeah.
made up beforehand,
How you guys have gotten to, how the committee has gotten to, this
where
point
we
or
are
where
at
we
this
are.
particular point in time, and
Oh,
go from
I think
there.
what we had said was that, as you said, this long title,
Mm,
that we are breaking it up into pieces and we're looking at the community and senior center together.
yeah,
And that's what we're you know,
I think you're right saying that at the beginning
Yeah.
and clarifying it for
Right,
people as
from the very,
important.
very beginning.
Because that may take care of somebody's question right off the
Yeah,
bat.
there's some, a
Right,
lot of people
right.
might just say, okay, I'm leaving, I
Right.
have, you know, I have no interest.
Or be
in-
more intrigued too,
Yeah.
you know, you never know, so, yeah.
it will be
Just-
interesting to see how many people come out.
Yeah,
Well, I think you're gonna see a lot of people.
Good.
I hope so, that's why I'd like to.
And are you gonna limit people to
I
2
think,
minutes
I think there should
speaking?
be a time limit.
Okay.
Yeah,
I think there is, because in my experience, in my short tenure, I've seen enough people come with 7 pages of single spaced
2 minutes,
material.
2 minutes?
2 minutes. We can
2
say a
minutes.
lot in 2
Yeah,
minutes.
2 minutes is,
Okay.
okay, so 2 minutes on that.
Yeah, but then depending on the number of people, I think the opportunity that people can get back up to if they have
Yeah,
more to say too.
and,
Yeah.
and we did that too with the library
Yeah.
thing that, you know, you
Yeah.
had to do.
And how long is this meeting gonna be?
And sometimes
7
people
to
are
9?
We can cut it off, but I
Well,
don't know.
I don't know, 2 minutes,
Depends on.
Are you willing to stay there as long as you have people asking questions?
I think you should.
Okay.
I think it's reasonable. I don't think you're gonna do that many. At 2 minutes, a comment that's 30 minutes, an hour. You get 30, you get 60 speakers, it's like 2 hours. I mean, that's a
Yeah.
lot of speakers,
Yeah,
you know.
I don't think
And
that
also,
much-
we don't need to hear the same thing over again.
right.
How about signing in when they come?
That's a good idea, just be able to speak.
I'm not sure.
I mean, just to see the people that come, but at least they have to get up and identify themselves and
Oh,
what
they
part
do,
of
they do have to
town.
identify themselves.
And what part of town
And
they
their
live in.
address
Yeah,
when they speak,
I was,
to make
would
sure
just
that they're
be,
from Trumbull.
right, somebody needs to write all those names down, or there's a sign-up sheet when they come in that they
Well,
put their names on.
The TV people are gonna film it. They called me
Okay.
today and asked if they could, and I said yes.
Probably the easiest way for speakers is to have them sign up and you just call them in order,
Yep.
yeah.
Excuse me, may I ask a question? You didn't have a public session, so I couldn't ask it then. I'm curious, has anybody ever had a public meeting before here?
A public hearing?
A public hearing like you're
Well,
talking about?
for the library, we did.
Have you had, who's gonna head this public
We
meeting?
have a.
We have someone,
You have someone?
Yeah.
Have they ever attended a public hearing
I
at, say,
have
the
no
Board
idea.
of Finance?
I have no
I
idea.
think somebody should, or talk to the chairman of the Board of Finance, because the way you're talking, it's not gonna work. I'll just tell you right now.
Okay. So getting back to our questions, thank you for your,
Think nothing of it, it's just, I've been through this before. I get paid for doing this, and I'm
So,
not believing
the other-
the
the
comments
other-
I'm hearing.
the other questions, so we have 3 now, so I think that we should give a 2-minute limit and an opening statement, and we have 3 questions. Do you have any other questions that we could?
No, but I need to look at the survey again, I probably should have paid more attention, maybe that'll
Trigger something.
trigger something, so, if that's the case, if all of a sudden during my daughter's parents' weekend, I have a light bulb moment, is there a way that we can, oh, thank you.
Just look that over. That's-
Yeah, that
that's
might,
hobby.
might trigger, that if something comes up over the weekend that we contact, I don't have everybody's email, but is there,
Yeah, you can,
you wanna try, jot it down for me, thank
sure.
you.
And I'll be meeting with
Jamie,
Jamie tomorrow maybe,
okay,
or probably Monday also.
that's okay. So this was the, were there 2 different surveys, or was this just?
That was the
The
one
different
for this
surveys. It was
committee.
that
The
one.
library had its own survey.
Yeah, I thought there was one that wasn't
There were
to seniors.
Yeah, there was.
There was.
Oh, okay, thank you. I'm not, I was like, I didn't see this one. Okay, yeah, I was thinking
Oh,
of the
this is
community one,
okay,
that's the
this is
senior
the
one.
senior
That's the
center.
senior.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay,
Okay.
I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
That's okay, it's, I should have, thank
Does
you.
anyone have the,
You know, I
I can
entered
look at it
online
later.
and I don't think I pulled it off.
find that? No, I-
That's all right, I can take a look.
Here.
Oh, thank you.
Okay.
I knew it was brief, I just, yeah, remember. And what features, which is kind of what we asked, what services would you like to see near the community center? That was,
What's that?
Okay.
one of the questions is what services would you like to see near the community center, so that kind of speaks to
Okay.
location, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I forgot this one, I just remember saying that, if a modest annual fee were charged to use the community center, would that deter you from using the center? Is that something we wanna even?
I don't think you
No,
wanna go
no.
there.